Look, I'm just going to say what everybody's thinking. There's a lot of people who don't like Nick Fuentes, okay? And I don't want to get into this purity test of who Nick Fuentes is and what his opinions are, because right now the issue is an individual who has opinions on the internet and trolls. Someone tried to kill him. This is not okay. It's never okay. And we need this to de-escalate. But my fear is that this would be the Mangione effect.
Yeah, Nick's opinion doesn't matter here. It could be someone on the left and we would be acting the same way like we would be right now. As of course, it is awful and horrible what happened right now. And sadly, you know, the left did lose politically. And I've been warning about this, especially since Donald Trump won the presidential election. The left overwhelmingly doesn't have a lot of political solutions. They do overwhelmingly have a major mental health problem that predominantly a lot of people who believe in their larger ideology do suffer from. So this is something that I think has been in the works. I think the Mangione effect is real. I think there's a reason he's being carried out like he's Bane. I think there's a reason there's a lot of epithets and there's so much lore around this particular story, as I believe there's a larger psyop happening here in order to gaslight, frame, and to build up this larger notion that if you can't solve your problems politically, you could just do it physically. And that right there is somewhere where we have to put the stop on it immediately, call it out. And I don't care if it's Nick, I don't care if it's Rachel Maddow. This is something that you don't do. And this is something that could desperately escalate the situation towards grand, dangerous proportions that we don't want to be living in.
Yeah, I was confused by some of the stuff you said connecting to like left-wing ideology, but I agree that regardless of who it is, regardless of how reprehensible I find Nick Fuentes, the solution is not violence. This is something I've articulated a lot in the wake of the assassination attempts against Trump to my audience, which is that if our principles, if our pro-democratic liberal principles include nonviolent solutions to these things, then obviously people trying to take violent solutions to disagreements is exactly against our principles.
But that is the left.
What's the left?
The use of violence.
How do you mean?
So, for instance, at like all direct actions, they have something called the diversity of tactics, which is a direct reference to individuals left aligned, covering their faces and engaging in violence. So the Mangione effect, this is not a right-wing phenomenon. There's not like Bible-thumping conservatives going around calling for death and murder. There are people selling products who are outright of progressive or left ideology, advocating and celebrating and outright saying they want to engage in carnal relations with Luigi Mangione.
Yeah. So, and that's something I've been speaking out against among, it's hard to say my own side because I think we talked about this last time I was on, or the episode's going to come out tomorrow. It gets a little bit wacky if you just say you split the country into two sides and then any most extreme example you can find across the two sides you portray as the entire side, right? But I agree, people celebrating Mangione when obviously what he tried to do is not the solution to the very problem separate from just the individual immorality of trying to murder somebody. Even the people saying that's okay because of healthcare problems seem to misunderstand how we would even solve those more systemic issues. But I did make the point a bunch of times last time, again on the episode that's coming out tomorrow. Sometimes we'll say in a general sense that regardless of political views, we all think violence would be wrong to solve those political views. But then it becomes a political point you're making, like, oh, liberals, Democrats, that cohort of people, regardless of where they stand on this issue, they're a part of this ideological problem. And last time I was on, we went over this, which is that political violence actually is far more common among
I would take issue with saying Democrats, because I don't feel like your run-of-the-mill Democrats are the type of person that would be the type of people that Tim's referencing.
Well,
but let's kind of make it like it's a left thing. And even
I'm on your side here, man. Hold on, let me get through my point, man. I'm on your side.
Then you're both wrong.
That's not even true.
And you're both wrong.
There's wanted posters for CEOs in New York City. There's people selling out cards of all these CEOs that are on their target hit list.
Let's try something else.
You hear me though? That's wrong. It's wrong for people to do that.
When was the last time you saw a right-wing protest?
A right-wing protest?
Yeah, like right-wingers going out in the street waving flags.
What I'm saying, but I'm saying that when it's actually more thoroughly analyzed systemically, right-wing ideologies are more responsible for political violence, which doesn't make the instances of left-wing political violence or promoting that.
Was that done by the FBI?
No. Let's try and base down.
Actually, independent groups as well. But
what would you define as like a right-wing ideology?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can things that ideologically across the political spectrum are associated with the right wing.
But what does that mean? Like you're saying, right-wing groups statistically are more likely to be violent. What does that mean?
No, like whenever they study acts of violence that had a political motivation, it's more commonly by a pretty large margin people who associated with right-wing
And what
ideologies.
is a right-wing ideology?
Yeah, we could pull up the studies to specifically define it because I don't want to botch it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.